Call this meeting to order, determined as a quorum, Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, we have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance, please, if y'all don't mind rising. Commissioner Wardlaw, please lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I usually make a comment about Martin, but I'm not going to do it.
No.
Item 4. Discussion possible action on budget workshop for fiscal year 2021. Before we get started, got a couple of things. Well, not before we get started, part of it. Judge Gonzalez, in the budget that we put out, not on what we posted, but on his budget, there was a 3% raise. That will go away. He's tied in. We tied him into the district judges the way their salary has been set. So we'll correct that right now. He's not getting the 3% raise. And then last year, out of the pre-trial on the county attorney's pre-trial, there's 151,000, I believe, in that account. If we could move 50,000, David, if you're okay with that, out of the pre-trial and move that back into the general fund. The other thing is the tax assessor collector, Ms. Garcia. There is a line item for computer maintenance in there at 33,500. That line item, because of the conversions and everything we're going to, will need to go to 54,000. And what that will cover is $20,000 pretty much prorated in the system we have right now, and then start the new system for a 12-month period at 34,000. We had also moved, we'd set aside some money to do a conversion. That conversion was not done, and in this budget right now that we filed, it does not reflect any money for the conversion. So we'll need to set aside another $32,000 for the conversion to take place. And if y'all are okay with that, I'd like to.
I'll make a motion to make the changes.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. We were at a meeting on Friday, and basically the judges had met. The judges have met on Friday to deal with some of the cases and individuals that are at the jail, to try to get them out faster. The discussion was that they would try to do a pretrial through adult probation first, but if that did not help or did not work and take care of the problem completely, that there might be another position needed in order to gather all the information and put it together and then get it out to the judges, and that way they can move forward and try to get these cases moved out. So at this time, a clerk 1 position is the base pay is $25,286 for a clerk 1. If y'all don't mind adding that to the budget under the sheriff's office. And it's one of these things that I'm not saying they're going to need it or use it, but that way they don't have to come back in case they need it.
We'll make a motion to add the position, but not to fill it until we get through to see how the pre-trial is working.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Aye, 5-0 vote. One of the other things, I think on Friday also was, we have a county that's next to us that today, sometime when they have commissioners' court, is probably wanting to do an order or something to keep the transportation of immigrants through their county. So I think we've had 2 discussions with them, but they don't listen.
To prohibit?
Kinney County.
Yeah, to prohibit us from.
To prohibit
non-tested, non-COVID tested immigrants
being transported through their county. And that would be that would put a huge burden on our county if we were the ones to have to do it in order to transport. I don't think they have the authority to do it. But I just want to make sure that our attorney, yeah.
We're just driving a bus.
I guess it's their interstate.
Huh?
I thought it belonged to the state.
And that one really didn't work out either. But either way, our attorney's fees, those attorney's fees that we have in our budget could be used, right, in order to defend that if all were,
Right.
the conversation also was, that we just drop them off at the Sycamore. You know, and tell them it's 100 some odd miles or 18 miles to,
Part of
To
the
stripes.
irony is Kenny County arrestees are being processed in Valverde County.
Can we stop that?
So they're basically saying, okay, process are arrested, they're almost up to 280 people. And those same people will not be able to travel through Kenny County when that's where they were arrested.
We can fix that.
I just wanted to make sure that we, bottom line is that we could, our attorney's fees, we could use those attorney's fees that we already have in our budget in case we need to hire attorneys to go, for lack of a better word, to go after them and explain to them that they're wrong.
Right.
Okay. And that's all I've got, folks. I mean, I know there's more, but give somebody else a chance to speak. Ms. Garcia, with what we did, you're good? Okay. Ms. Lopez, there's two elected officials in the room. Ms. Lopez, Judge, you're good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Nobody, for the record, there's nobody else in the room. Mr. Ramon, you're on video. Did you have anything before we open it up to the commissioners?
No, sir, I would like to thank you for that, extra sheet that you said you did include in the budget. That helped, explain a lot of the things that, I know my staff had questions on. So, everything else was fine. You know, that was the only issue you and I had talked prior. And, but everything else is fine on there.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
And Janie,
Yes, sir.
I don't remember what page it was on, but I was looking at elections.
I put in there like 45.
Is that gonna be enough to get through two elections? Or, I mean,
We can wait and down the line, I know, you know, the judges just knows there's some expenses coming down the line that we may not have planned on, because we don't know how long this thing is gonna be stretched out for. It is not enough, but I mean, we might not have an election.
oh, you're gonna have an election.
But,
It's gonna be.
you know, we can address it later.
Okay.
I'm going to try to order the things that I need ahead of time on this particular election. And hopefully that will, cut down on what we have to have in the end to put on the big election, because that one is gonna be, I know the school district is gonna have some things, I know the city's also gonna have some positions, so we might be able to offset a little of our expenses, because it's divided up equally between everybody, so that helps, to not make it such a burden on one particular entity. But it is, a primary, we'll just have to get those two parties to, perhaps make deposits earlier than what they've done before. Usually they pay at the end, and the state reimburses us, some expenses. I know that, this year, the reimbursement didn't come till almost maybe a month ago, and, so that kind of also puts a burden on the county budget for a little while. But eventually they do pay, it's just a matter of when it gets done.
Can we charge them interest?
We have a contract with them, and we charge them, they pay their expenses or whatever it is. The estimate prorates everything. that, we purchased, we tell them ahead of time what goes with what entity. And so, yes, they do, and so does the city and the school district, they both pay a share. That's why I'm saying it might be easier for me to plan ahead with this election coming up in November and see if maybe there's things that we can pay for now instead of waiting until the March primary to do. But it may need some more writing.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Summerlin.
You're welcome.
Commissioners? One thing before we get started. You had some questions, I'm sorry. I didn't check out. Had some questions on just the description.
Just the description, Judge, I know that the position, that's listed, the way you listed it, and I met with Matt, or talked to Matt about it as well. The $86,000 salary you have listed for the special assistant to the county attorney, the special assistant salary is being drawn from the unfilled first chair, or first assistant right now. So that one should actually be the civil attorney, who's Mr. Plummer.
Okay. So it's just a matter of listening.
Just listing it as civil attorney and not special assistant. to the county attorney.
Yeah, it's just a
The
word.
the numbers are all right, it's just the way it was classified.
Okay. All right. Okay, Commissioners, as promised,
Judge, I've got a question here on, operating expense for precinct 4.
mhm,
For this coming year, you got me down for 293,000,
mhm.
and you got precinct 3 for 297.
Yes, sir. And the reason I did that was he has more roads, that he maintains, right now than you do.
What do you mean, 1 mile?
More money. Just because of what we're adding with bridges. So the actual mileage, I mean, it's like everything else. If you want more money, you just need to say how much, and then we'll take a look.
Yeah.
Then now that y'all bring that, go ahead, I'll let you finish first, and then I'll move into something.
Well, no, I mean, it's always been, precinct 4 being an arduous precinct has the most miles. And I just see it that this is the first time that this happens.
Yes. So if you want to move it up, you just need to make a motion and throw out a dollar amount. You want to think about it real quick?
No, I just-
Then you go on to something else.
Okay.
All right, while you think about it.
Judge, I'd like to point out that I do know I've got the least roads,
Mhm.
and I've got $250,000 less than the other precincts. I don't mind, because I don't have any big projects to do.
You have, 182, so you're $100,000 less
I say on the total is, 267,000
on the total of what?
of the expense on,
The thing is though that
Judge, I said I'm not complaining.
Okay, no, but now that
I
you
get
brought
it.
up, precinct, 3, 4, and 2, one of the things that we do need to visit on is that the 3 precincts had FEMA money, so that's how come the total's gonna be off of it. 170, 160, 170, and I think the same over here, 160. The classification in those was classified as, capital outlay, which in that we're probably gonna need to change to something else, because those are the FEMA monies that were brought in. They should be able to use them, not just for capital, but for operating or whatever, because they were reimbursed. So the description on, precincts 2, 3, and 4, we have a description of capital outlay, and we'll need to change that description to allow the commissioners to be able to use those funds, for operating or paving or whatever they want to use it for.
Or capital.
Or capital, yes, sir.
So, you just want to handle that through a budget adjustment throughout the year? Or?
Can we just change the title?
You want to change the title, you want to?
Yeah, and my whole thing would be, since the 3 precincts got that, received those funds, those would be the funds, that in case they don't use during the year, we could roll them over another year. So we just need to keep track of them.
Okay, so in that case, we'll just create a special fund
That'll work.
that equity will roll over.
Okay. One of the other things that we talked about, Matt, and now that we're in the, commissioner's part, In operating, we stuck everything together in operating. That's been done the last 3 years. In visiting with Matt had brought up that we might be able to split that in operating and paving and go back. I know that at the end of the year, we've tried to use those funds because we were doing other things. So at the end of the year, we tried to go out and buy paving. So what Matt had come up with was that if we were to divide it back into operating and paving, if y'all would come up with a percentage what you would like in paving. That way, at the end of this coming fiscal year, correct me if I'm lying a little bit, if we do that, then the paving, if you didn't have a chance to use it during the year, then we could roll that one over. But just paving, not move money from operating back into paving, but split it up again.
It's your budget, you can do whatever you want. However, the paving by statute, the farm to market is only allowed to go to paving, so that has to be spent.
In paving. That's what I'm saying. It's something that we could do it, and then
I would personally prefer that we have an operating budget and a paving budget. That's
the only thing is though that we're not gonna be able to be going back and forth. That's one of the reasons that we put it all together was that we all wouldn't have to be moving it back and forth. So whatever percentage you're trying to come up with just for paving, if y'all will think about it, then we put it in, on the 31st when we go to finalize the budget. But we won't be able to move that money.
The way it is right now, I mean, we can amend the budget at the end of the year or, middle of the year.
The only thing is,
move money for paving.
the only thing is though that you're not gonna be able to move money out of operating into paving and then roll it over.
I know, that's why, to me, the way it is better.
It's up to y'all. It's up to y'all.
I mean, cause we can do whatever we want with that money.
Okay.
I mean, to a certain point. And then if we got a paving budget, we're limited to that amount and that's it.
Yeah, and don't, but if you put in a paving budget, if you put in, Jesus Christ, can't talk to you. If y'all separate it and you go by a percentage, then it would allow y'all to use the money for paving, and then if you don't use it, you could roll it over. So I'm not saying split it in 50-50, I'm not saying anything, y'all would have to come up with a number that y'all.
If we can roll it over, I mean, it's a great idea to do it that way, but
again,
we're not gonna
once
be
you
able
do
to,
this,
we're gonna spend it and.
No, you won't be able to, you don't have to spend it. That's the whole purpose behind this is that it would give y'all an opportunity because it is farm to market. It is that type of tax that would go in for your paving, that you'd be able to roll that paving over and ain't not trying to spend all the money at the end of the year and have a bunch of this asphalt. One of the things that came up in conversations with a couple of the commissioners is that even if you did that and you have projects that the amount of money that you have in paving, you can't go finish a road because it's so long, you could take a little bit of that money every year and roll it over just for paving. Don't be transferring money back and forth. And then you could have enough money to do that road. Because we all got some roads in there that what we have in our paving budget won't do it.
Like I got that Changas Road, I mean, that one.
That's what I'm saying. So you could build up a little bit of money over a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, in order to be able to help finish that one road. That one road that you just can't get done, it's just nothing but pieces. All right? So if y'all will think about it, when we have our meeting on the 31st, that we can put that into a percentage that y'all would like, if that's what y'all want to do. Matt had brought it up, probably go back to the paving, and I think it's a great idea. The only thing is, though, that we're not going to be able to be moving money from operating into paving just so you can roll it over. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing we can do, the way it is, just figure a percentage of paving from that operating. If it's 40-50%,
No.
and that's the only thing you can use for paving.
And that's like I'm saying, if y'all will come up with a percentage, we can put it in this budget. We'll figure it out. All right, but again, we need to be real careful that we're not moving, at the end of the year, we're not coming back to the court to move money from operating into paving just so we can roll it over. That's not what this is about. Y'all gonna have to stick to a paving budget and stick to an operating budget.
On that percentage, I mean, we know statute's pretty clear. I know it's gonna rub people some wrong way on that, but the statute's clear on the percentage that you're supposed to use. In the past, you guys were able to toggle that percentage by using auto registration. If you had to, you could toggle the percentages and use the auto registration as a plug. So going by this,
We're gonna get really complicated,
yeah, I mean, we probably just use
a percentage.
the percentage that dictates the
Yeah.
statute.
What's the percentage?
It goes on assessed values in the precinct.
Do you have that percentage or?
We do, but I mean, we know how that's gonna end up, right? 80% of it's gonna go to two precincts.
Don't understand
Okay.
that.
That eliminates a budget, you know.
Right, but,
Just one
and that's why the
and-
auto registration was always a field
Yeah.
for that. You know, so then the precinct that got 40% of it got less auto registration. So that's how that went, but.
There's gonna be a couple of precincts really happy to be a couple of precincts.
Right. But the point is, it's something that probably should be.
I'll be happy.
And it's something that, and it's something,
Yeah.
as the judge points out, that can be, rolled over and kept in perpetuity as long as it's used for that purpose. And it's not just paving, it's also capital equipment to do the paving. So, yeah, really is a good idea to do that.
I'll put something together,
Yeah, y'all will do something, and that way we can move forward with that. I'm sorry, what is that? I'm talking like that, I can't, my back is good, y'all. Okay. Commissioners, one more time, I'll open it back up.
My issue, I prepared a sheet for all of y'all on travel and training. The, total came to $477,683. We have in the county clerk's office $67,000 in travel and training. We have in the county attorney's office $57,000 in travel and training. The sheriff's office $47,000, and the district attorney $40,000. I would like to see us come up with something that requires, and I don't know that I want to go cut everybody's stuff, but that these other funds are used before any money is spent out of the general fund. There has to be a mechanism. I just think $477,000 is a lot of money, and some of these departments have quite a bit of money. Some of them don't have a lot. And then you have your constables. You have one that has $5,912 in Leo's funds, and we're still budgeting $1,200 for travel and training, but you have 3 other constables that have no money in Leo's fund. Is there a reason we don't apply for that? Okay, come on.
We've done this the last two courts, or 3 courts, 5 courts, 6 courts. They have to be the ones to apply. We can't apply for them. And just to be real frank, we can put pressure on them, to do it, especially since there's money out there that would help them, do their continuing education. That's what it's set up for.
How much is that? How much do they get, sir? You know?
I don't know, Commissioner.
You know, Matt, what it is, each application is 600 or something?
The 600.
650.
The only one that had applied last year, I think it was, Constable Burke.
Yeah.
Well, he's been applying for years, and that's why he's got $5,900
Well, yeah.
saved
but
up.
He's been applying.
You know, instead of using the Leo's funds, we're using the, general fund, and so. I mean, it's up to the court, but I just think that's a lot of money that we're spending on travel and training when we have a lot of money sitting in these funds. We have $225,000. Now, I understand when we did the budget, we just picked numbers and did a percentage and all that kind of stuff. I get that. And if that's the case, then maybe we need to move it into another category, but I think it should be used prior to the general fund.
Yes, we did that, we did that on percentages, but, also, one of the things you can say is that those funds are eligible for travel and training. So, it may not be that bad of an idea,
To say,
you know? Well, we plugged that 25%, because that's 25% of the budgets. We put 25% of the remaining fund balance plus 75% of revenues. We put that, divided by, 4, and we got there. Now, it's an eligible use, so that may not be a bad idea.
can I make a motion that all special fund travel and training must be used before general fund is touched.
Do we have a second?
Uh,
No, you can make the motion.
All special
In other words,
travel and training.
Must
Not-
be used
not the
prior
full-
to general fund.
Right, not the full, fund balance, just what was budgeted.
What was budgeted?
Yeah.
What we had.
It's not what they done 75% further.
The problem you're gonna have, is this, we've got in mind all this. It's permitted for travel and training if it's related to that particular.
the motion could be if it's legal, if it can be used legally.
Right.
Okay, I will make a motion that all departments with special funds use their travel and training first for the legal applications that they are for, before general fund money is touched.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? All those against? It's a 5-0 vote. And, on the sheriff, we'd already just taken out 10 out of yours already and left you with 5, so, that would sort of leave you out, but that's okay with.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We already took money.
And the Leos, we'd already taken out of the Leos. Constable Precinct 3, we'd already taken his full amount out to 400. So, Sheriff, you got something?
That doesn't include, Department of Treasury and the Texas forfeiture, does it? So the court does not have control over those.
He said legally?
Okay.
The legal, whatever the legal requirements are for the usage. And I understand, like, there's travel and training technology fund, you want to use it for certain things, I get that, but don't hit the general fund if you have other funds that are available to pay for that.
And then we'd already visited with a couple of JPs on the technology fund, so it doesn't, like he said, it isn't, you hit the technology fund to go travel and train, to go do something about statutes, it's not about that, but if there's something you're dealing with technology, hit the technology fund first. Okay? Is there anybody else? Any other commissioners, anything else? World coming to an end.
They only wait till after commissioners.
I'll try to come up with that.
Judge, I was forgetting something.
Okay.
On, the Cienega Creek Road, better known as, Ferry Road, the old Ferry Road. And it starts there on Frontera and it ends up there in Vega Verde Road. I'm working on opening that road to the public, and I'm gonna need some money to do the water crossing there, the low water crossing on, Cienega Creek. And, I wanted to make a motion, asking the court to, allocate $50,000 for that low water crossing. So it's gonna take place this year. We're gonna open that road to the public. And we only got one lane crossing there, which is a very narrow concrete bridge and it's pretty old.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I hear a second? Motion passed. Real quick. And there was stuff that people put in this budget, just, as commissioners, we put other stuff in this budget that I did not put, or asked for, that I didn't put in here. And my thought behind that is, we received $500,000 per precinct, in tax notes.
Is that for equipment or for anything?
Anything capital related.
So if you were gonna do, something with the road and bridge, with roads, it would be acceptable with road and bridge. So that would be acceptable. And again, I mean, you know, we ended up with $500,000 per precinct for that money.
Yeah.
So Judge, I would like to, out on the Escondido, there's one way that people can't get from Escondido to the Rancho del Rio. And And, we need an emergency exit for, on the freight trains and have the crossing closed off. We need we can make two places, we can make a cut through there. Would those funds be,
Anything having to do with roads and capital improvements, if it's another road or whatever, that could be used, just bring it back to the court.
okay, well, I'm very interested in getting this opened up.
Bring it back to the court.
So I'll bring it back to the court, get it on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, Judge, were you referring to the certificate of obligation or the tax note?
The tax note.
The tax note, absolutely.
Now, the certificate of obligation is just totally different from the half a million they already got in the tax note.
Right, and, okay,
Yeah, it's tax note money.
and there's time limits on that. Okay.
Is there any other questions? Folks, you got nothing else?
Man, is this new one you gave us substitutes for the original?
Yes, those were the additions that you had last quarter, and then we brought the grants in at 13. So.
Okay, so we can change up the pages. These are the
Yeah,
new
you can
pages.
change the issues, it's on the, yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elected officials in the room. None of y'all have concerns. We're good? If y'all are good, then Sheriff, 6. Good? 7. David?
Good. Randy, you good?
I'm fine.
Well, he's the one that gets everything.
Yeah, every time he turns around,
It's like, now, this is in the best interest of the county. About $86,000 bill. And real quick, also, and then we'll close this thing out. Confusion, or maybe, lack of explanation on my part. There is a committee, that is looking at the American Rescue Plan funds. That committee has already met twice. They have another meeting in October. In October, those funds, what I put out for the elected officials is pretty much just a cap. It's not something that is actually already written in stone, and that's what everybody's gonna get or not get. But because of the posting requirements, we had to put something out there. And we've had phone calls, how about the employees? That's the first thing that this court thought of was the employees. Okay, it wasn't the elected officials, so we had to get it out and get it posted for the elected officials. Okay, that's how come that was done. The employees, again, those were our first thoughts. Some of the things that have been, sort of tossed around with so much money for parks, the employees, money for parks. One of the other things, also was, maybe some stipends or something for businesses. Can't really do a heck of a whole lot, but a little bit for businesses and their employees who are trying to hire employees. There's a host of things that we can use this money for. I think and, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but, one of the things that we were waiting also on was a little bit more better guidance as to what it can be used for, because it keeps changing. So it isn't just what we threw out is written in stone, it's not. We've got a couple of people that want to attend meetings, and there will be a place and a time for public comments before we pull the trigger on a massive amount of money. So that will happen. But right now, to have just a lot of people to show up to the meetings, it just doesn't, just not conducive to good practices. But either way, I wanted to get that out and let people know that we're still in the process of working through that. The committee will bring back some suggestions to the court for the court to vote on, but before that happens, we will have public input, but not until we get a better sense of exactly what we can use these funds on. That's all I had, folks. Commissioner Wardlaw, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Commissioner Vasquez?
Nothing more.
Commissioner Neverton? Commissioner Flores? Nada. Nothing? Then this, if there's nothing else, this meeting's adjourned. Thank y'all.
Recording